Hello people, welcome back for video number 2 of Speaking Spurs today. Consider that lucky or unlucky depending on your personal preference of me popping up on your screen. So the previous video we were speaking about the Pacos de Ferreira win of 3-0 that takes us through to the group stages of that. This one is about build up to the Watford game, a little bit about some transfers that have been ongoing and just general housekeeping. So we'll start up with the build-up to the Watford game. That one is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 2 p.m. kickoff, and you will be able to, 2 p.m. You will be able to watch that on Sky Sports. So that will be on Sky Sports Premier League and Sky Sports main event tomorrow. That is Sunday, UK time, 2 p.m. All right. If you're watching this from another country, make sure you check your local time for information on kickoff. So if we just talk about some team news. Harry Kane should make his first start of the Premier League season. Obviously started in the game against Pacos de Ferreira and got his 2 goals there. Came off after 72 minutes, so got some rest in those legs. Should be firing and ready to go. Looked fairly sharp. Rodon is still out with his injury. And Tanguy Ndombele, once again, is not selected. I mean, I have no idea what's going on with him. They're not really talking about it. Nuno said in previous press conferences, the information needs to come from Tanguy himself. The thing is, he's come back, and from what I can see in training, he looks trimmer. He looks fairly happy. I think maybe he likes some of the people there. Just doesn't want to play for the club. Newly father. I mean, we keep going over the same things. Like, I have no idea. We just need him to come out and say what's going on. Problem is, we're going to have to lose some money on him, which is a shame. Great talent in there. But yeah, we'll just leave it. There's no point in talking about him anymore. So they're the players out for us. For Watford, Juraj Kuka is a doubt. He's just returned from injury, but he's still a doubt. Ben Foster, thank God. I mean, I don't want to wish an injury on anyone. Don't get me wrong. I love his Cycling GK YouTube channel and his, the Fozcast that he's now doing, his podcast. They're really good. Love him on social media. Hate playing against Ben Foster. The guy, when we play against him, is the biggest time-wasting cheater I have ever seen in my life. He always pulls out worldy saves when he plays against us. Time waste all day long. He's just so frustrating to play against. So I'm glad he's not playing. So he's got a hamstring injury that he picked up midweek. Yao Pedro is out with a knee injury. Chalobah and Goslin are both ill. And Ozan Tufan is out, but they didn't actually say what that was with. So they're missing a few players there. And they're not that great against us, if I'm honest. So yeah, that's the team news. So I'd expect us to be able to field a pretty strong team based on that. We're in a good moment. The 2 wins in the Premier League. I don't know what the Arsenal score is at the moment, but when it was half-time, I know they were 3-0 down. Granit Xhaka had been sent off. I mean, when is that guy going to learn? Control your tackles. But, great news. They're having a pretty poor start to the season. Feel a bit sorry for Arteta, because even though he's played for Arsenal in the past, which technically makes him scum, I actually quite like the guy. I think as a tactician, and his football in mind is quite good. He's just stuck with what he's stuck with at Arsenal. And he's not quite getting it right with the players. I think he's one of these that wants to play a certain way, doesn't have the players to do it, but won't really compromise too much on what he wants. Whereas when he was underneath Guardiola at Manchester City, they get who they want pretty much. And they've got the players capable of doing these things. So unlucky for him. Great news for us that Arsenal are having such a poor start to the season. It keeps that nice little gap there in North London, proving that the outsiders don't belong in North London. I know it's been a long time coming, but I think that dominance is well and truly established now. Yeah, screw you, Arsenal. Back to the main point, the game we're meant to be talking about. When you look at Watford, look, they're not a bad team. They played very well in the Championship last season, so they are newly promoted. They are going to find it tough. And I think the key to this game is to keep Ismaila Sarr quiet. If you keep him quiet, you keep Watford quiet. I don't know what's going on with Troy Deeney. I think he's in the process of maybe sorting out another 1-year extension there, or the possibility of moving. I think it's going to come down to whatever he wants to do. The board will allow. Look, he's got a good relationship with them. He's club captain, was linked with us last summer, I believe it was. Deal didn't materialise. He's the sort of striker that Mourinho could have done with, to be honest. He's strong, he's big, creates defenders a crap ton of problems. So hopefully he doesn't end up playing, but I'm sure he'll come on at some point if he doesn't start. Will be a test for our defence. I don't know if Romero's going to play. I'm sure he'll be in there in some capacity, just because apparently he's still struggling with injury. Not to the point where he can't play. He's obviously played against Pacos de Ferreira again. So I think the problem is he just hasn't come through a game pain-free yet. But as we saw, he's very good on the ball, very comfortable. And for a guy that was feeling pain, he was running about quite a lot. So whether he starts or not, I'm not too sure. However, Sanchez has been okay to start with. Was a bit shaky in the beginning of games, but grew into all of them so far. So I'm not overly concerned if Romero doesn't play. I have confidence that Dyer and Sanchez will be able to get through this game at least. But yeah, Nuno as well. He'll know that Ismail Assar is their main threat. Nuno is very good tactically at sorting out his defence against main threats. I mean, he's obviously, when he was at Wolves, he had lots of main threats in his own team. Jimenez, Neto, Moutinho, Traore. Who else was it? It's gone out of my head. The guy that went over to Liverpool. Don't know why I can't remember. I was only talking about him the other day, and I quite like him as well. Jota. Yeah, Jota. Diogo Jota. Yeah, so he's had lots of threats. He knows how to deal against threats. I would say he's obviously a little bit pragmatic at times, but he knows how to play a good brand of football as well in attacking sense. He's kind of got a good compromise of both. So I'd expect him to be fully aware and have people on Ismail Assar for the whole game to keep him as quiet as we can. Good news for us, we have only lost one of the last 16 Premier League games against Watford. Make of that what you will. And then also, we've only lost one of the last 27 home league games against promoted sides to the Premier League. Not a bad record if you ask me. Let's keep that one going. And that one was actually to Nuno Espirito Santo's Wolves when they were promoted in 2018. That game was December 2018, I believe. Yeah. And then if we have a little look at players, Sonny has scored 5 goals in his 9 Premier League games against Watford. Sonny's going to play, no doubt about it. Obviously, he had a nice rest against Pacos de Ferreira and just joined later on in the game. So he'll have lots of energy in his legs. He'll be back with his telepathic buddy, Harry Kane. So hopefully they can get that relationship sparked up and running again. We didn't see him against Pacos together because Sonny was the man that replaced Kane. So I'd assume that we're going to see Sonny back out on the left, which means someone of Mora, Bergwijn, Hill, we may see drop down to the bench. I would think it might be Mora just on the way he's been playing recently. He's not been the most consistent. However, it could be Hill just because he's had the game time against Pacos de Ferreira, but he did have a good game. So you never know. We'll see how this one goes. So let's talk about transfers now. Obviously, we know Sissoko has now gone out the door. He's actually gone to Watford, who we're playing, for £3 million. So that's a £27 million loss on Moussa Sissoko. He came to us in 2016 from Newcastle. Struggled when he started. Let's face it, it took him a couple of seasons to settle in. The fans didn't overly get on his back. I mean, we moaned about him behind closed doors, but always showed him support in the stadium, which we are quite good at as a fan base. I think we are one of the better ones for not overly getting on players' backs individually. We get on the team's backs as a whole, but we're very good at not really slating our own players to the ground in the stadium, at least. But he actually become a mainstay in the end under Pochettino after, he'd settled in. And it's crazy to say it took a Premier League player a while to settle in, but Tottenham was a step up from Newcastle. More talented players in the squad. Moussa Sissoko is not the best technical player. He does his covering, he does his running, he tackles and covers for people in positions very well, which he did under Pochettino. He really helped Marshall in that midfield, helped cover at right back several times. Was great going forward until it hit the position where he was like, what do I do now? He managed to burst past players several times. He's a quick player and he's very strong. Technical ability, meh. You ask him to pass that ball, he'll make this drive and run, and then the whole game slows down as he realises, oh crap, I've now got to do something with the ball. I need to pass to someone, or I need to shoot. Shooting was never his strong point. But, under Pochettino for a while, he was a mainstay in the team, very helpful, mainstay in that run to the Champions League final in the 18-19 season. Jose comes in, Sissoko then struggles for consistent game time. However, what was interesting, before Mourinho managed to stamp his authority on the team and start putting his philosophy in there, Soco actually scored a couple of goals, and it was crazy. We were seeing him bursting forward, and I was in the stadium for one of his goals, and everyone went mental. It was a good goal, to be fair, taken very well. But that goal scoring vein we just never saw take place, because after that, Mourinho laid his stamp on the team after he let them express themselves for a few games, made them more rigid, made us more pragmatic, played that boring football, and at times, yes, we got results, but wasn't very pretty on the eye. Sissoko certainly didn't thrive in it whatsoever, didn't get enough game time, and then off you go. So I wish him all well. He's gone to join Danny Rose at Watford. Will he feature against us? I don't know whether that will happen. He's certainly fit enough at the moment. He's been in matchday squads. He's had his pre-season, so very much could see him in some capacity. If Danny Rose does play, I hope the fans get behind him and welcome him back to the club, because he didn't actually get to say goodbye. So if he is fit, and he has been on the bench for Watford whilst he's been regaining his fitness, if he is fit, I'd expect to see him in some capacity. If not, and the game maybe is done and dusted, or they need an extra defender on the pitch, I hope they put him on just so he can get a reception from the Spurs fans. And I'm sure we'll be singing his name at some point, because the documentary made him to be out such a villain, and it was absolute rubbish. It was edited to the high heels. Got rid of parts of the conversation, I'm sure, that was slightly more amicable between himself and Jose. And if anyone has watched the interview Ben Foster did with Danny Rose on his own YouTube channel, on Ben Foster's YouTube channel, you'll see that Danny Rose said those kind of conversations happen between manager and players all the time, and I'm sure they do. Like, if my bosses were shunning me at work, I'd be straight in the office having a pop. And, I mean, I'm not the most confrontational person in the world, but I'd be in there banging on the door saying, like, what's going on? I mean, I have conversations with my own football manager all the time about certain things. I'm very honest with how I feel. I don't feel at the moment I'm played in my best position, but I have to play there because it's right for the team, and we have discussions about it, sometimes a bit more heated than others. Okay, so that's the Sissoko scenario done. As I've said already, Romero's still struggling with English? Probably that as well, but injury problems, not had a pain-free game yet or training session. The other signing that we need to talk about is Pepe Sarr. So he has joined us from Metz. We've sent him straight back out on loan to Metz for the remainder of the season. Not a bad idea either, seeing as Hill has just come in. We've got a few other signings that need to settle in. That's one less person we need to settle in at the moment. So he'll get pre-season ready for next season, which will be great. And he can stay somewhere he's comfortable with, knowing that he's moving on to another level next season. So we've got him from the French team. He's 18 years old, Senegalese international already. He's made 2 appearances for them at international level. That's full international. 25 appearances last season for Metz. He scored 4 times. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but he's a defensive midfielder, so let's bear that one in mind. He had a very good season. If you look at the YouTube clips, which, yes, I know can make any player look fantastic, he does look like a top talent. Very, very highly rated in France. Many teams would have been after his signature. We've managed to get it over the line. What else? This season already, he has made 3 appearances. And he got an assist in the 1-1 draw against... Who was that against? Reims? Yeah, against Reims. So yeah, like I said, he's a defensive midfielder. Things that he likes to do, or attributes, he's very good in the air. Wins a lot of aerial duels. He stands at just over 6 foot. He's a good tackler. And something else that he loves to do is shooting from distance, which for me isn't a bad thing. We don't actually have enough players that like to take their pop shots. One of my main criticisms under Jose Mourinho was that it was just too careful all the time. And as well under Pochettino at times, not enough players were willing to take these risks. We were trying to play really nice, almost like the way that Arsenal used to play, where they wanted to walk it in the back of the net. Whereas this is a guy that will take the chances on. So, yeah, that's the news for today. Watford, 2 p.m, Sky Sports. Sissoko has gone to our opponents, 3 million, a nice 27 million loss. But he was a big earner, so that's money off the wage bill, which will be great for us going forward now. Pepe Sarr, new player to watch out for next season. So that is it for today. There will be more transfer links. I will try and talk to you. I'll try and get a video at least recorded tomorrow after the game to give us the thoughts on that, when hopefully we've got our third Premier League win of the season. And a convincing win would be great with a nice performance. Kane and Sonny on the score sheet would be great. Maybe one of the new signings getting a goal. We'll see. But it's good times at Spurs at the moment. There's still time to get players in before the window shuts late on the 31st. I will be watching the transfer window. I will stay up late and I will make a video at some point talking about what has happened on deadline day, because I'm sure Levy will make us a signing on deadline day. But that is it for today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around. That's your second video of the day. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and turn on those bell notifications for those of you that would like notifications to pop up to let you know when the new videos are come out. Thank you very much, guys. Take care, and as always, come on you Spurs.